morning, everyone. Welcome back to Aaron's Reading Room, and welcome to the 22nd edition of My Category Journey. This is going to be the first part of a three-parter, so something I've never done before, but it's going to be all in the desire line. And the first book that we're starting out with is Homecoming Heartbreaker by Joss Wood. How I came to this decision here is Joss commented on a picture I posted on Instagram of some Harlequin books that I have, and she said that there needed to be more desire in there, and so I took that as Joss volunteering to be featured, and I asked my good friend Bree, who's a fellow host at the Categorically Romance podcast, for a recommendation, and she suggested that I go with Homecoming Heartbreaker. So let's go ahead and get into it. We start off with Mac. Mac is the son of the owner and founder of Moonlight Ridge, which is this resort for the wealthy and famous in North Carolina. He has not been back to Asheville. The Moonlight Ridge Resort is in for quite some time. He's been back periodically, but only for a few days. That is because there was a very dark moment that caused him to leave the town as a sort of self-exile. Now, who is still in town and working at Moonlight Ridge as the manager is Molly. And Molly and Mac obviously had a relationship. They were lovers as teenagers, but Mac ending their relationship and leaving town still leaves some feelings with her, on both sides too, but it's obvious that she's harbored some strong feelings over this 15-year period. But now, because Mac's father was hospitalized for a near brain aneurysm, is now recovering at home, and he was a huge part of the operation, Mac is coming back to step into that role to help out. But it's going to mean that he and Molly are going to have to work together on an almost daily basis, and there are a lot of unspoken things still between them. So this is exactly the kind of workplace romance that I love. Drama-filled, salty attitudes. It's going to be great. We also get a second chance in here too, which I'm realizing I like the second chance quite a bit, even though there's some real-world aspects to it that I'm not always a fan of. But putting that aside, in romance books, especially category romance books, I am all for it right now. So I'm absolutely ready to go and just dive into this one. So I'm going to go on to chapter 2, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 2, and we got quite a bit of information in this one. So we learned a little bit about the accident that caused Mac to leave town and just abandon everything without saying goodbye. We also got some backstory on Molly and a little secret that she's been hiding, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think the person she thinks she's keeping a secret from, I don't think it's actually a secret, but I'll keep that in my hip pocket for now, and you'll have to read the book to find out if I'm right or not. But we got a touch of her dark past. We also got to meet her sister-in-law, who it turns out that Molly is supporting her mother, two brothers, and pretty much her sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law has a job at the lodge, but doesn't really do much. Yeah, they're holding the secret over her head, and they're making her support their unemployed lifestyle. So I've got a lot of feelings about that. There was a thought of throwing something at sister-in-law. I fully approve of that. I gave my permission, but Molly's a better person than I am. We also got some tension between Mac and Molly. It's obviously going to be just like I expected, some drama and friction between them, and I love it. So great start to this book. It is so much fun. So I'm going to go on to chapter 3, and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 3 of Homecoming Heartbreaker. We had one of those great moments where the characters just are overwhelmed by their mutual attraction and feelings for one another. No matter what is coming out of their mouth, their mouth just does other things that, are very enjoyable, but maybe not something they were ready to jump into quite yet. But we love it. They loved it, even though they can't admit it to themselves right now. Well, I'll say, because we're in both their heads, we understand that they both enjoyed it very much, but they cannot admit it to each other. They're doing the whole, well, I don't have time for romance right now thing. We also got a perspective from Mac's adopted father, who is the owner of the Moonlight Ridge Resort. He's going through health issues right now, and he's fired a lot of his nurses. Well, steps in his old housekeeper, who there's some feelings there, and they might be mutual feelings, but she gets picked up to be his newest nurse, or to nurse for him, at least take on those duties. That's going to be great. I'm very excited to see how this develops in this story. We're doing great so far. The characters aren't quite where we need them, but I have full faith in Joss that we're going to get there just fine. Maybe a little speed bumps along the way, but that's all right. That's what we're here for. So I'm going to go on to chapter 4, and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 4, and despite the good things that happened in chapter 3, we went back to Mac and Molly being a bit standoffish with each other. Mac's trying to be honest with her, but his honesty is not really appreciated by Molly at the moment. She isn't prepared to take that on because there's a lot going on with Moonlight Ridge right now. The place is in a rougher financial situation than Mac could even have imagined. Mac also got a little peek into the difficult situation that Molly's in with Beth, who is the romantic interest of her brother, who there's a lot of trouble going on there with the family and Molly. So Mac's maybe stepping in where he's not welcome a bit. I think help wouldn't be the worst thing. But we'll leave that for Molly to sort out herself. She's more than capable of taking care of things, and she does have a plan. It's just timing is a bit difficult right now. So things are heating up in the drama department here. Just have to see how much hotter it gets in other departments as we go on. So I'll continue to chapter 5, and I will check in with you then. So I've finished chapter 5, and I'm liking that Molly and Mac are starting to work together well professionally. They realize that they've got to pull together for the sake of Moonlight Ridge, and we're glad they are, because the resort needs all the help that they can give it. It's too old-fashioned. Younger people don't want to visit. The rich and powerful just see it as just another place, kind of yesterday's news. So they're going to try and tackle everything they can right away. We also got another peek into Jameson's point of view. He's Mac's father. And I absolutely love when an older man tries to play matchmaker. It's super cute. It's also super cute, the attraction he has for Jada, his ex-housekeeper, who is now nursing him through his recovery from his brain episode. She's not giving him any slack. She's making sure he's going to recover, and we absolutely love it. So good things all around, I hope, but we're about halfway through, and now we're going to definitely run into some speed bumps here soon. So waiting for and expecting all the drama that's to come. I'm going to go on to chapter 6, and I will let you know how things go. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 6. This chapter really rekindled the fire that was going. Well, there was always a fire going between these two, but that fire turned into a forest fire, and there was just nothing they could do at that point. And Molly's fighting in her head of whether it's going to happen again or not, or it's just going to be one night. We always have these kind of conflicts going on. Mac's playing it pretty close to his chest. He's not letting much be known right now, but I'm pretty sure he wants more than this just one night. Now that that's out of the way, hopefully they can move on to better things like getting married and saving the ranch and all of those fun things that are going to happen eventually here, that there's no avoiding it. So I'm going to go on to chapter 7, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 7. We had a lot of development in this chapter. Of course, I can't share it all with you, but I can give you kind of an idea of what's going on. Molly finally got something off her shoulders, something that was there for way too long and didn't need to be there, and she was stressing out way too much about it. She unloaded it to Mac. He was nothing but a gentleman. I think he's gonna do some things to help alleviate the situation a little more. So in addition to that, Mac was back at Moonlight Ridge to help out Molly and take stress off her plate and everything. We weren't really sure quite what he was doing to this point, but he made some moves, and I think he's finally found something he can do that really, really helps Molly. And there's also a little bit more connection growing between these two. I know they've known each other since they were kids, and They've got a lot of history, but just in this last chapter, there's been some addressing of things in the past, and we can just feel them growing closer together. So everything's in a real good place right now. But we are going into that point in the book where a dark moment might show up. So we're gonna hold on tight, and I'll go on to chapter 8, and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I've finished chapter 9, and oh yes, we've found ourselves here. Definitely, we knew something wasn't quite right at the ranch, and that was discovered by Mac and his brothers, but his brothers, with the best of intentions, put some ideas in his head that didn't need to be there, and Mac made some awful decisions following up that. As he should be, he's in the doghouse, so that's where we find ourselves right now. We better hope he has a good pair of groveling shoes, because he's gonna need them. I don't know how he's gonna convince Molly to forgive him for what's going on, and I don't know what he's gonna do about the whole situation going on with Moonlight Ridge as well. I'm just gonna have to go on to chapter 10 and figure out how it all pans out, and I'll check in with you then. All right, everyone, I have finished Homecoming Heartbreaker by Joss Wood. This is book 1 in the Moonlight Ridge trilogy, and it was so good. It was so fun. It was so fast-paced. It had some mystery in it. It had lots of drama that you want. It had the perfect amount of steam, and it had characters that you love. Oh my goodness. We got our happy ending, but we know we're gonna get that, but I can't tell you exactly how it got there. It was so satisfying, though. There were things that were tied up, but there was plenty that hasn't been resolved yet. So this is book 1 in the Moonlight Trilogy series. It's gonna be tough to leave things as they are right now. But I'll just leave you with that and say stay tuned. So I would love to thank Harlequin Books, as always, for bringing these wonderful stories to us. I want to thank Joss Wood especially for writing this great book. Also for sending me so many ebooks and e-arcs and everything. I'm so excited to get to them. You've just been so great to me as a reader almost overnight, and I appreciate it so much. I'm so excited to get to your other books. I also want to thank all of you here who follow my category journey, and remember that you're part of the journey as well, and remember to enjoy your own reading journeys, and I will see you all in the next video.